Forcing bulbs are an amazing thing to do so that you have got some colour inside in the winter. You plant the bulbs between mid-October and late November. You can put them somewhere quite dark for a bit and cold, and then bring them in when you want to force them.
So you're basically really tricking them into thinking that they've had winter earlier than they ever have actually. So these are lovely hyacinth. They're wonderful and have incredible scent. These are little grape hyacinth, or muscari, these little blue ones.
And these are a type of iris, which is brilliant. You can have iris that go through the year, and these are some of the first ones you have in spring.
Actually, the really nice thing about growing these inside, forcing them inside, is that if you have them in the garden, they have a lot of strappy green leaves, so you don't actually get to see the flower. So, whereas in the pot, the leaves won't grow as strong, so you really get to see the flower.
You can mix your bulbs up, which makes it quite fun.
This also is quite interesting. This is an old bulb vase. So we literally just put the hyacinth bulb in that, and then you don't need soil, and you just put water in and the roots grow down into the water.
One thing you've got to be really careful of is a lot of these bulbs like to be somewhere dry. I mean, out in nature, they're somewhere where they're not all waterlogged. And of course, we're putting them in pots that don't have holes in the bottom. So if you are putting them in some terrines or some vases, make sure you don't overwater them. They like to be a bit dry. Now, every time we plant something, we always put in some of this climate compost. Now, if you guys want to think about it, a teaspoon of good soil has more life in it than people in the world. So when you start thinking like that, this tiny bag is absolutely pumping full of life.
This has a dampness to it, it has a heaviness to it, and actually it's really about thinking of it like a probiotic. You just need a little bit of it to really connect with the roots in your plant.
But anytime when we're planting something, we always use this inoculum, because the more life you can get into the soil, the happier the plants are going to be. Our favourite winter bulb is the paperwhite. One thing that you must do is order your bulbs early, because either you won't get them or you'll get the sort of runty ones at the end of the season.
Yes, and if you do that, and what we tend to do is we order a big bag of paperwhites. I mean, we might even order 500, which sounds like a lot, but actually it's relatively inexpensive, because what you'll be doing is using them throughout the winter so that you can have a series of cut flowers throughout the winter in the house.
And the brilliant thing about these is that you can plant them like other bulbs that we're planting for. You can put them in soil, but actually you can just put them in some water. So you get your bulb, you put it in a vase, or in a glass, and you just put water up to its neck. So if you're looking at this, you've got to try and keep the water up to about here.
I mean, it's so easy.
And that's it, boom.
If you're living in a flat, if you're living in a house that you don't have a garden, if you don't like gardening very much, this is the easiest way to have cut flowers throughout the whole of the winter.
So this is a week later, and then this is about 2.5 weeks later. One thing you can do if they get very floppy is you can put a little ribbon around them. And the other major trick, which is really great,
yes, a little vodka with your paperwhites, is actually to stop the greenery becoming so lush. We actually, after a couple of weeks, we'll just top them up with a bit of vodka.
The thing is that like any forced bulb, mostly they aren't brilliant the next year. But as we hate to waste anything, what we'll probably do with any bulbs that we force is that we'll put them in a part of the garden. If they come up, it's brilliant. If they don't come up, it's not a big deal. Or if we have a lot of them, so sometimes we have many, if we're doing big events, we'll make sure we compost them. I mean, there are other narcissus that you can plant inside and force.
We just love this because it's just so easy. When you don't have much time, put a little bulb with a bit of water and you're done.